is a video of a debate between Bill Nye and Ken Ham in 2014. And here, Bill Nye tries to use evidence of why he thinks the idea of Noah's Ark wasn't feasible. And I think it's completely should be shown that it backfires on him.
Family were able to build a wooden ship that would house 14,000 individuals. There are 7,000 kinds, and there's a boy and a girl for each one.
Let me back it up.
Flood caused that. Another remarkable thing I'd like everybody to consider, inherent in this worldview, is that somehow Noah and his family were able to build a wooden ship that would house 14,000 individuals. There are 7,000 kinds, and there's a boy and a girl for each one of those. So it's about 14,008 people. And these people were unskilled. As far as anybody knows, they had never built a wooden ship before. Furthermore, they had to get all these animals on there.
Let me pause that and talk about the unskilled part. Huge assumption. You can't even be honest to go with that as a fact, like he is. Okay. Noah's Ark is from before the pyramids were built. Potentially. Let's say it's even older than Noah's Ark, the pyramids. That works against him even more because to this day, we haven't come to an agreement on the technology they used to build those things. And it is called one of the wonders of the world because of the skill in ancient times to do that. We have yet to build a crane in our modern times that could pick up some of those stones that they moved miles. And to sit there and say this guy is unskilled because he's ancient is not very intellectual. It clearly shows I'm biased. I don't want this to be true. So how can I come up with ways to downplay? And the true word is to vilify this individual, making up facts that I can't possibly prove, let alone history proves against you. Look at how many things of antiquity are marvels, are things that were built that some claim 10,000 years ago. And it blows our minds because we cannot replicate it. To sit there and say this guy was unskilled, how could he build a ship? I mean, it wasn't until modern times that we could build one this big. Point number one. Point number two, I mean, just totally is easily to be debated. And I think Ken Ham, his mind's too focused on the scriptures to sit there and look at things maybe logically.
And they had to feed them, and I understand that Mr. Ham has some explanations for that, which I frankly find extraordinary, but this is the premise of the bit. And we can then run a test, a scientific test. People in the early 1900s built an extraordinary large wooden ship, the Wyoming. It was a 6-masted schooner, the largest one ever built. It had a motor on it for winching cables and stuff. But this boat had a great difficulty. It was not as big as the Titanic, but it was a very long ship. It would twist in the sea. It would twist this way, and this way. And in all that twisting, it leaked. It leaked like crazy. The crew could not keep the ship dry. And indeed, it eventually foundered and sank, loss of all 14 hands. So there were 14 crewmen aboard a ship built by very, very skilled shipwrights in New England. These guys...
See how he emphasizes very, very skilled? Come on, dude. Why are you bagging on Noah? You don't know what his skills were. You can't even scientifically find out, but scientifically, historically, archaeologically, we know that the ancients in many ways were more profound than us. I mean, we found ancient batteries. That Greek thing, I forget what it's called, it's a clock of the universe. Come on, dude. Stop bagging on skill.
We're the best in the world at wooden shipbuilding. and they couldn't build a boat as big as the ark is claimed to have been. Is that reasonable? Is that possible? That
He says they couldn't have. Okay, where's your facts for that? They couldn't have built a boat as big. All we know is the biggest wooden boat that was built in modern times doesn't mean they couldn't have built bigger. Let alone, let's not talk about structure and engineering. The Tacoma Bridge fell apart. They didn't stop building bridges because of that.
the best shipbuilders in the world couldn't do what 8 unskilled people meant.
Let me show it real quick. I'm just clicking a random video. I haven't pre-checked it.
Tell Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler no price controls, no tax increases, and
Bye-bye.
These are some of the most amazing pictures ever recorded by a newsreel. The actual collapse of the world's third largest suspension bridge.
Okay. They didn't build the bridge well. Okay? Doesn't mean they stopped building bridges with those materials. They just used different designs. Come on, Bill Nye. Let's be honest and intellectual.
And their wives were able to do. If you visit the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., it's 163 acres, and they have 400 species. By the way, Washington, D.C.
What did I do? I missed it.
claimed to have been.
Oh.
Is that reasonable? Is that possible? That the best shipbuilders in the world couldn't do what 8 unskilled people, men and their wives, were able to do. If you visit, and they couldn't build a boat as big as the ark is claimed to have been. Is that reasonable? Is that possible? That the best shipbuilders in the world couldn't do what 8 unskilled people, men and their wives, were able to do. If you visit the National Zoo,
Where does he say?
So there were 14 crewmen
There it is.
aboard a ship built by very, very skilled shipwrights in New England. These guys were the best in the world at wooden shipbuilding.
Best in the world? Come on. What about Malaysia, where they build big, giant ships?
And they couldn't build a boat as big as the ark is claimed to have been. Is that reasonable? Is that possible? That the best shipbuilders in the world couldn't do what 8 unskilled people. 14, the crew could not keep the ship dry. And indeed, it eventually foundered and sank, loss of all 14.
Okay, that's what I was looking for, is that it sank. And 14 people died. And he says this is proof that Noah couldn't have built a ship out of wood. Okay, here's the problem. We go to Wikipedia. 1909, right here, is when the ship was finished. And in March 1924 is when the ship sank. That means that ship was afloat for 14 years. Okay, this is Bill Nye's proof that the ark couldn't have happened. The ark is claimed to have been afloat for 1 year. And this ship lasted, I don't have enough fingers, 14 years, maybe 15, because it doesn't say what month it was completed in 1909. I mean, 1909, 1924, that's 15 years, but, take away some months, maybe it's 14, maybe it's 14.3, you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? This is proof that it actually is feasible if somebody's intellectually honest. You get into Ken Ham's response, and it's just makes me cringe sometimes, the things he says. I'm not going to get into that. That's enough for now. And yeah, that's my point. He tries to use this as proof that it's not feasible. First of all, too many assumptions about the skills of Noah not taking into fact history and science of what we know about ancient civilizations. Okay. Secondly, it was afloat for 14 years. We're only claiming the ark was afloat for one. You just proved that it's feasible, that it's possible.